So this week we're going to talk about something that really, the very high-end guys do. If they do it regularly, I do this once a quarter, but most contractors never think about. And that's how to maximize their time, right? How you maximize your time. I can't tell you over video where you're spending the most. I can make some assumptions, but I cannot tell you where you're wasting your time. But what I can do is give you a tool where you can tell yourself really, really simply. By the way, if you want to do this tool, you want to send it to us, we can give you some notes too. But we're talking about the importance and the power of a time study. What is a time study? Time study is pretty simple. We actually have our own that we're actually going to give you. It's going to be on the email with us. You can ask us for it if you're seeing this video later. But super, super simple. It basically breaks down your day. I would love for you to do it 2 days in a row, every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, you take the time, and it's super annoying to write down what you did for those 15 minutes. That's it. It's pretty simple. Here's the beauty of doing a time study. Most people don't really realize, number one, what they're spending their time on. Is it revenue generating? Is it really a big deal? Are you spending a lot of time on Facebook? Are you going back and forth from emails to questions to working on this thing to emails to building a price book to emails and never going into flow, right? A time study is the first step into time blocking, which we'll talk about in a different video. Time blocking is an amazing way to make yourself work more efficient, but you have to start off with, where am I spending my time now? What you'll find when you do a time study and you haven't done these before and you don't time block, if you don't time block, what you'll find is you are constantly interrupted with distractions. Every day, all the time. The vast majority of contractors do that. An emergency comes up. By the way, we're not surgeons, we're not doctors. Emergencies really don't exist. I know people don't like hearing that, but no one dies if it takes you 15 minutes to answer that pricing question. They just don't, I promise you. Now, should you answer that question? It'd be better if you had a system to answer that question for you, but sometimes you have to answer that question. But you have to be aware of how much time you're spending going back and forth. Time study is going to tell you where you're spending your time, what you could not be doing and free up a ton of your time. And I want you to really pay attention afterwards, how many times you bounce back and forth from one thing to another, from one thing to another. I had a client that's redoing their price book right now. Everyone knows how complicated, difficult, and annoying it is to do a price book. Everyone dreads making price book changes. It's one of the best ways to make more money with literally zero extra effort. Super important. Everybody knows it, but it takes so long to get done. And number one, it takes a long time because it's complicated and because it's a big deal and it's a lot of effort. But the reason that most of the time it takes so long to get it done is because you're going back and forth with so many things. How much more effective are you if you spent 5 hours straight really focusing on that price book? Or, 45 minutes and you take a 15-minute break, or 45 minutes, 15-minute break, as opposed to what most people do is, hey, I worked on it 5 minutes and someone came in my office and we talked for 10 minutes. And I worked on it 5 minutes and I spent 10 minutes answering emails because I got distracted. Then I worked for 5 minutes and I got this text and I was texting back and forth with one of the salespeople. And I worked for 5 more minutes and then my phone rang and it was one of my vendors, right? What happens there is you spend 20 minutes out of an hour on your time you're supposed to be spending on your price book, which might be acceptable, but the truth is you can never get in the flow. You can never get that completed. You are more effective a minute 15 than you are a minute 3 when you're building a price book. You get in a rhythm, you start going, you start making changes, it gets systematic, right? You get faster as you keep going. Price book is a simple example, but all of your business is like this. Answering emails, it's way more effective to answer emails in blocks than it is to check every 15 minutes. I know this, you know this, you've done this before. Do the time study, figure out exactly where you're spending your time, where you're bouncing, where are things that you're doing right now that maybe you shouldn't be doing. Maybe they're not really needle movers and you should be doing something else instead. Do this time study. Let us know your thoughts. I hope you found this super valuable. Trust me, I find this valuable every single time I do it. I'm always surprised I fall into bad habits. They're never the same ones because I'm pretty good about that, but you're doing them too, guaranteed. Unless you're really time blocking, which is another video, you're going to have this issue. Enjoy.